So, Carrie, I want to sort of take a different trajectory for a minute here. So we have a lot of myths, and we're going to do like a myth buster session right here. So you hear from married people, you're single, do everything now. When you get married, you won't have the time. Oh, you can sleep now, or you can pursue your dreams now. Have you been told those things? And what do they, I want to know, what does it feel like from being on the other side, on the receiving end of those words?
Wow, I like what you said, Shiko. Yes, I have had those myths, and I love, especially the last one where you said, you're single, you have time, do everything you can now. In fact, at the beginning of the year, I remember thinking, wow, this is the least busiest I'll ever be. Because already I'm feeling my life is so packed, and I'm thinking, okay, and this does not involve husband in the picture and all that stuff. I think, to your point, it's a myth, because in every season, whether you're single or married, it's all about your purpose.
Yes.
As long as you understand what you've been called to do. And I don't know if I'm answering the question correctly, but I believe is in every season there is grace. It's almost like, and I've been told this, that as a parent, you have your first child and you love this child. Then you're expecting the second one and you're thinking, will I be able to love them?
Will I have the capacity to love like this?
Yes, but it's like you're expanding, like you have that capacity.
It is true.
I believe it's the same thing, that in your single years, don't waste them. Because I had seasons where I was saying, okay, maybe I wait, this will do together. But I'm there like, no,
go for
there's
it
a
now.
reason why God needs me to do them this side of marriage before we engage. So yes, you have time, but use the time wisely, because I keep saying the worst thing would be for me to get married, and I keep saying, I wish I was single.
Yeah.
Because then we'll be like the Israelites. And I keep saying, never let your place of manna become your place of murmuring. The very thing the Israelites asked for, which was a blessing, now became their place of murmuring and complaining.
Yes.
And at times, because you did not take advantage of your single years, you're now married and you're thinking, do we have to do everything together?
Yeah,
I wish I can just have a weekend alone. Honey, that season ended.
Yeah, that was
so
over.
I'm learning to enjoy as much as I can, so that when I get married, I'll be fully
In
married,
that season.
immersed in the season.
Yeah. Okay, another myth.
Yes.
The reason you're still single is you're too ambitious, you're too picky, you're too achieved. You need to tone it down a bit. Talk to me.
Always. I think that's the biggest one I hear,
Isn't
where
it?
that you will intimidate him.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, but where he is, I'm sure he's not just chilling near your corner doing
if you can
nothing.
intimidate him, then he really
Then
is
you're
not the
not,
one.
thank you. You said it, which is absolutely true.
Yeah.
And I agree. And I think it's also a lie of the devil, where let me keep you complacent, mediocre.
Right.
Because you're saying, I don't want my husband to be intimidated. It's a lie. I don't believe that. That's a myth, which is a lie. Do what you're required to do in this season. Again, it's a season.
Yes.
If the season passes, not to say you won't be able to do it, but the grace you had when you were single
will be different.
Absolutely.
Will be different.
Absolutely.
And even on the same note of lower your standards. You're too picky. Have you been told that?
Yes, I had a very blessed his heart. He's like a father to me. And one day he just told me, Wangari, even before I got married, I wasn't a neat man. I mean, I was not. So I know there are certain things you like, but he won't come like that. You're the one who will make him. I'm there like, I know. And to be honest, I think the flip side of that is that we all start with a list of you're tall, dark, and handsome in whatever way it looks
20
like.
bullet points.
Yes, but as you keep maturing, you keep realizing that some of those things are superficial, like they really don't matter.
Right.
But then what tends to happen is that there are certain things that God has put in your heart. I have been there. I have settled, and I was about to go all the way. And God told me, no, I didn't create you to be that. So it comes from a place of desperation.
Right.
To be honest, before I'd be that person, how can you compromise? Now I've been there. Because you get to a place where I'm loved, I'm in this is it.
Yeah.
And then you're there like, but it's okay, those 15 things. We can,
Let's shrink the list to like, he's breathing.
you know.
He's breathing.
And he likes God. Imagine
He
the
likes,
rest.
he may not
will
even be in a
pray.
relationship with God yet.
Yet, tutaombea zile zingine. But then you realize that
Yeah.
the things you're getting ready to compromise on are so foundational
Yes.
that you might as well bring down your whole institute of marriage and
Right.
start from scratch.
Right.
So don't get there in the first place. Just be patient.
Oh, wow. So what you're saying is this, you can have your expectations over here, but it's okay, you can have your deal breakers, and your deal breakers should be the foundational things.
Yes.
Like, let's not compromise on God.
Yes.
Relationship with
Yes.
God, passion for God.
And these foundational things must be benchmarked on His Word, not on my last relationship with Brian or John or Andrew. No.
So true.
Because then if that's the case, it means you're trying to recreate something you had with someone here. So it's to get to a place and say, God, what are our building blocks? Because then for every time as you keep growing, it's like you're laying an additional slab to this foundation.
Yes.
So imagine a foundation that is so superficial, so shaky. You're building on a sandy foundation. Your structure will come up. But maybe now when your kids are there, that's when you realize, oops, that was the wrong foundation.
Yeah, and what to do at that point
Yeah.
after you've built a whole mansion.
Yes, so build on the rock. What does God's word say? Go back to His blueprint. What is
Yes.
love? Like it says that the man is to be the male aspect of God, and the woman is to personify the feminine part of God. Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
if that is not what you're doing, coming together and showing the world this is God, then there is something. Just wait. It's
wait.
never that serious.
Imagine it's not. No
Yeah.
one, like really, it's never that serious. Do not compromise. That's what we're saying. Do not
Yes.
compromise what God has put in your life because of desperation, because of a season. And it's a season. I promise you, it is a season. It feels like it's been everlasting,
Oh yes.
but it's a season, right? So I want us to jump into purpose.
Yes.
You talked about purpose.
Yes.
And there's this amazing book. Guys, this book is amazing. It will change your life. It's a 100-day devotional that Carrie has wrote. So, first of all, is this your first?
It's my first book, and I know it's the first of many. So absolutely excited and humbled.
Yeah.
It's a journey that began, if I'm honest, God gave me the name of the book, October 31st, 2015. I'll never forget.
Wow, Everyday Raise.
Everyday Raise. And I knew that's the name of the book. Then he told me, I need you to start posting on social media every single day, and I'll show you what to write. And as you do that, you're building discipline for writing the book I'm going to give to you. So there are times God gives you a word. It would have felt like I'll write the book in 2016. 4 years later, here we are.
Wow.
So then in 2018, 2019, when I was ready to start working on the book, he told me, get all your journals together and I'll show you the different things I've been teaching you. You will get materials from that.
Right.
It was a lie. It was a setup. Because me going back to the journals was God allowing me to see things I had written and I had not dealt with. So he knew I needed to heal you.
You had a
make you
whole therapy session with God before
what?
this could come.
There's no way you're going to speak to people powerfully about my word if you're not
Healed.
you're not healed.
True.
So I went through that healing journey, and then we began putting the book together. But then I remember 2020 happened. It just ended up being such a complex year. And I remember telling God, you know what? My birthday is in January. Why don't I launch it on January 21st? If anything, the date is 21/01/21. Come on now.
Preach
Hallelujah.
about it.
But he told me, no.
No.
I told you this is a 2020 book, and it needs to be
Those
in
were
the
your
hands
plans, but now this was
his plans. And I remember I have a very strong will. Like if I set my mind to do something, I will do it. I gave myself a deadline of December 12th. And at my workstation, I wrote, get it done, 12/12/2020. And December 11th, the book was at print. So 10 days, I just zoned out and I just said, this book has got to be done.
Amazing.
And here we are, an amazing, and for me, Everyday Raise is all about, he's an everyday God. And I love what you had mentioned earlier, that at times we feel like our life has to be in compartments. There is career in the marketplace, there is career at church, career at family functions, but God is saying, you're one and the same. And when we have many shikos, when I meet you, I'm there like, which shiko am I talking to today?
Exactly.
You're almost like schizophrenic, right? So God is saying, I'm an everyday God. I want to be in your life. So there are 5 themes here. Everyday series, everyday life, everyday love, everyday work, and everyday God.
Wow. Wow. And where can we get this before we jump into something else? Where can we get the book?
So there's a number where people can call and maybe we can share that later, but also at African Book Hub, and they have a bookshop at Absa Towers ground floor.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. Get this book. It's a devotional. It'll change your life. Now, you have spoken about different, like the different things God has taken you through, different learning experiences. Now, I want you to speak to, this single person. I have been waiting. I mean, my 40s, 50s. And in this day and age, guys will be like, if you're not divorced or widowed, that means you've never been married. What is wrong with you? There's that pressure of, I want to have children. What do? Do I freeze my eggs? I don't have the money or the capability to freeze my eggs. Can I just get a baby? Is it okay? God will understand. Babies come from God. If someone is in that space, what would you tell them?